I'd like to welcome everyone. We'll call this session to order. Let the roll call show that all board members are present, with the exception of Ms. Carlson. At this time, we'll have public comment prior to closed session. And the items are listed on the agenda. This time, we can have Ms. Sabay.
Mr. Sala, Representative, Superintendent, and Cabinet. I wanted to come up here this evening to kind of share with you guys that I had a experience with going over to Houston High School a few days ago, and they were having worship on the field night. And I feel like that's really important for our students to incorporate if we can consider after school to be able to utilize the school facilities or the fields to do a worship night and to bring all kinds of Christian students together from all over and to be able to worship and hear the word of God. And that's pretty much it why I'm here tonight. I wanted to see if you guys can consider doing that for TUSD. I think it's a great idea. Our students, a lot of students are plugged in right now with some churches and youth groups, and we want to kind of be on the good track. That's it. Thank you.
I think you can look into that. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board at this time? Mr. Manakia? Okay. Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm good.
Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? Good evening. I just mentioned I'm Sister Jan, and I've been here before, but it's been a while. I was informed that they were considering a teacher in instruction training. I didn't get the full name of what it was, but it's called PRISM, and it's called Training in Culture, and it's about training in how to coach the children in the radical ideology, which I am totally opposed to, because it opens the door to the children to evil. My focus tonight is a prayer that God will in some way not allow this to happen. I don't see it on the agenda. I was instructed that it might be on the agenda. Mr. President Silva, it's good to see you again. Members of the board, half of you are new, and administrators are new, some of them anyway. Members of the diverse community. The Holy Bible is the substance of my prayer for the district. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. The God who in the beginning created heaven and earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Almighty God, I call upon you to, by your Spirit, hover over this place and rescue our school district from the powers of darkness. O Lord God of our fathers, are you not God in heaven? And do you not rule over all the kingdoms of the nations? And in your hand is there not power and might, so that no one is able to withstand you? Why do the nations rage and people plot in vain? They plot vain things. The wicked plot and gather against the Lord and against his Christ. Now, Lord, look down on the great wickedness that has come against, by my understanding, Turlock unified school district to bring a great wickedness upon our children and to bring your judgment on our city. We come to you in the name and power of your Son, Jesus Christ, who defeated the principalities and the powers of darkness when he shed his blood on the cross of Calvary, whom God raised from the dead and is now seated at your right hand. We call upon you, Father, in the name of your Son Jesus, to deliver us from the wickedness arrayed against our school district and the deed against our city. We implore you for the hovering over of your Holy Spirit here with a mighty visitation of the 5-star gospel. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. So I don't know what's coming, but I want you to know that we will pray earnestly that we do not join this kind of, well, there's already a lot going on in the district too. I've heard a lot of things, and I'm not able to come every time, but thank you so much. It brings me memories back of those many times I spoke to the board before.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the board at this time? Mr. Manakia?
Yes. Good evening, Board of Trustees and Superintendent Black, because that's what the California Department of Education calls you, so I have to go by their address. So I'm here to address this one more time. You guys said last week you have PBIS restorative practices running where? At one school, Medarius. That's the only school you guys got it running at. Your high school, Pittman High School, they're not running no restorative practice there. And I have asked you to come over there and look and check the school grounds and make sure the campus culture is going to be upgraded to where we're going ahead and we're having restorative practice at every school site in the TUSD. Not just at one school site, we gotta have it at every school site. Now this year alone, my child has been arrested, which is not part of the restorative practice program that you guys got going on here, but because you're misusing the funding of the restorative practice, and you're going ahead and using it for other things, let's say races or whatever you may be using it for, it's still misuse of funding, public funding, is that you're not implementing the restorative practice at the high school, Pittman High School, and other school sites, because we have heard nothing about restorative practice of anything other than Medarius. Medarius is an elementary school. It is not a suspendable school. I mean, yes, it is suspended, but I'm sure it should be more implemented at the high school level. Now, Pittman High does not have the PBIS restorative practice program running in its criteria this year. And I have explained this to you guys before, and yet you have gone not heard. You have not heard nothing I said or done anything. Now, California Department of Education has requested you guys giving me my files. Now, I've been up here many times requesting my files. Who had them? None other than Superintendent Ladd. Here we are, I'm asking the board to review my children, why I have not received their files, and yet you allowed Mr. Laddick to hold them until somewhere in March of this year. So that is a FERPA violation, Mr. Laddick. It is a FERPA violation, and it's an ongoing FERPA violation, because there was one sheet that was not in there. There was one sheet, and you all had it. You all had one sheet. The one paper that wasn't in there was the order from the judge that his charges were exonerated. Now, that was not in none of his files or nothing. And Mr. Laddick, you were the one who had his files for the whole time. Whole time I'm sitting up there asking for them, requesting them on a regular basis at the meetings, which I stopped coming.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, your time is up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to Is there anyone else that would like to address the board at this time? If not, we're going to move into closed session and return at approximately 6:45. back to order. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to report that the following action was taken in closed session. I'd like to report the board did act on a closed session item this evening. By a vote of 6-1, the board approved the settlement agreement between P. Gomez and the district. We have the inspiration with Walnut Elementary, Mr. Baroni.
All right, good evening, everyone. Members of the board, Superintendent Laddick, cabinet, and all of our many guests here tonight. For tonight's inspiration, it is my honor to introduce Walnut 6th grade student, Blake Quillen. Blake is here tonight with his family, his mother Lori and father Brad, his older brother Scott, a former Magneteer, and his younger brother Jax, a current Magneteer. Blake's teacher, Mrs. Silvera, shares that Blake exemplifies what it means to be a Walnut Magneteer. He is respectful, kind, hardworking, and exceptionally creative. He brings wit and thoughtful contributions to all aspects of campus life. Blake has been dedicated to fully engaging with campus activities, including our RAD leadership group and our many school musicals. Blake is not only an accomplished student, but also a supportive and inclusive friend who makes those around him feel valued and respected. Over the years, he has overcome challenges with resilience, always maintaining a positive attitude and treating others with kindness. Blake is a bright light in our community, and we are incredibly proud to have him represent Walnut Elementary. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Blake Quillen.
Thank you. Is anybody else kind of hot? Like anyone else kind of sweating? Okay, thanks. I just like to know that I'm not alone. I'll be serious now. Kindness. It's a word I feel is thrown around a lot. Oh yeah, make sure to be kind or say something kind. Sure, we can all say, nice hair, to fill out a school bingo card. But saying a compliment from the genuineness of your heart is completely different. What do you want kindness to be from you? From the people around you? Kindness doesn't come from a script. I have a friend named Tiago, and there was a season this year where I had a commitment at the end of school multiple times a week. When I would leave class, Tiago would stack my chair, fill out my class money chart, straighten my desk, etc. Not because he was forced to, but out of the kindness and genuineness of his heart. He showed kindness by rising to the occasion when he could have just left my stuff alone. He wasn't working for a reward, although eventually I did thank him with a slightly melted candy bar. But the thing is, he was never asked to do this. Not by me nor my teacher. He just did it. That, in my opinion, is kindness. Many teachers at Walnut give a prime example of kindness. In 3rd grade, my teacher, Ms. Hales, welcomed me when I was new to Walnut by connecting with me in our shared interest in technology. In 4th grade, my favorite second cousin, Ms. Kimber, gave me opportunities to explore my love for audio production. In 5th grade, Miss Lee accepted my not so great artwork, but pushed me to continue to do my best. And before I was even in 6th grade, Miss Silvera took a risk on a dumb 10-year-old with no drama experience and put him as a lead in the musical, truly modeling kindness at Walnut. Acts of service or helping is another type of kindness. When you help someone by opening the door and holding it, if somebody is carrying something, 2 things happen. Now you see the person who was received kindness, feels gratitude, but something completely different happens to the person who expressed kindness. That person who expressed kindness feels that same gratitude that they get to give that kindness to another person. It's like giving gifts rather than receiving. Getting feels good, but receiving feels even, sorry, I messed that up, totally. But giving feels better, my bad. Being there for someone is another type of kindness. When all of you here standing here, or actually sitting, makes me feel valued and appreciated. Those of you not yawning, it feels like a small act of kindness. But that act can change the world. If someone is down or feeling low, the best thing we can do is not try to cheer them up or ask what's going on. Just be there. Our presence is a type of kindness. Okay, now we know what kindness is, but how can we spread this motion? We don't need to create a startup or fund billions of dollars. We just have to be kind. Oh, but Blake, my small little words or actions won't do anything, which you're so wrong, in a good way. You see, Tiago was kind of me. Now I move on to be the same type of person to other people. My teacher's influence lets me want to be the same person to other people. When someone helps me, I don't just want to hug that feeling to myself, but I want to give it to other people as well. I'm sure you've heard about plenty of character traits but up until now, but I think kindness is the most important. Kindness can spread like wildfire. So let's throw some gasoline on it. Thank you.
Mr. Winters?
Well done. That's hard to come after. But now I'm going to introduce another magnet here. Good evening, Board President Silva, Superintendent Vade, the President of the Board, to the representatives, and distinguished guests. I am honored to celebrate this outstanding scholar. Please help me welcome Liliana Kroll. My mother, father, and brother, or a past magneteer, and extended family. She'll be leading us in the flag salute. Lily is an outstanding student and a wonderful person. She brings joy to the classroom every day with her fun-loving personality and great sense of humor. She is a true jokester who can always make others smile, and she is loved by everyone around her. Beyond her bright personality, Lily is a hardworking and dedicated learner. She cares deeply about her education and always gives her best effort, even when things become challenging. Her perseverance, positive attitude, and kind heart make her a great example for others. Lily is truly an amazing student. We are going to miss her dearly, but we know she is leaving 6th grade ready to take on anything life sends her way. We're excited for the next chapter in her educational journey, and she will always be a woman magneteer.
Please stand for the pledge. Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kids, you guys wanna come up, we'll take a thing, maybe in front of the theater, because, how we gonna do that? Alright, let's do it. That'll fit you just fine.
Like,
Right here, this one.
oh, okay.
Good job. There you go, right there, fine. Okay, perfect, good job.
Oh, thank you.
Alright. Let's go this way a little bit. This way, there you go, there you go. Okay, perfect. Okay, ready, and 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, I'm not doing good. Okay, there we go. Okay, ready, 1, 2, big smiles, big smiles. Okay, there we go. Slow down. Stay right here, we're one of the two views here. Okay, there we go. Can you guys just go this way just a tiny, tiny bit? Alright, thanks. So cute. Okay, ready, 1. You might get cast in Shrek if you're not careful, Mr. Slugger. Okay, now the two of you. Okay, scoot this way just a tiny bit. There we go. Okay, ready, and 1. Big smiles. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
thank you, students, for a good job. Next, Ms. Jackson, our police vision and mission.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm going to read our illustrious mission. Turlock Unified School District will deliver effective instruction in a safe, equitable, supportive environment in partnership with our families and diverse community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Let the roll call show that all board members are present. If I can have a motion to accept the agenda.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the agenda. This is a roll call vote. Ms. Ramirez, Ms. Carlson, Ms. Amy,
Aye.
Ms. Jackson,
Aye.
Ms. Martinez,
Aye.
Mr. Shields, and board president votes aye. Motion carries. Approval of the agenda is passed. Next is a presentation, and I believe Ms. Mendes. Partners in crime, Shelby Avila and Sandy DeRose, is that correct?
Yes.
Good evening. When people ask what makes Walnut special, it's hard to put it into just a list of programs or accomplishments. So tonight, we'd love to share it in a different way. We want to take you through a day in the life of a magneteer. Because at Walnut, it's not just what we do, it's how it feels to be a part of it. Our day doesn't start with a quiet bell. It starts with energy, music, smiles, sometimes dancing, sometimes singing, and yes, sometimes teachers trying to keep up with the dancing. Morning opening is more than announcements. It's where confidence begins, where students find their voice on a stage in front of their peers, owning who they are. Then we head into classrooms where learning is anything but ordinary. You might see scientists in action, testing, building, questioning everything. Students who are thinking deeply, collaborating, and pushing themselves to grow. Or you might walk into a classroom filled with artists creating, performers rehearsing, and students stepping into roles they never imagined they'd have the courage to try. Because being a magneteer means exposure to academic rigor, but encompasses so much more. It's about leadership, it's about character, it's about learning how to lift others up. It's the student who helps a classmate without being asked. The group that turns a project into something bigger than expected. The moment a quiet student finds the confidence to speak up. And it lives in our traditions too. The energy of Olympics, the pride of our performances, the moments that bring our entire school together. Moments where you look around and realize this is more than a school.
It's a community, a family, a place where students feel seen, valued, and inspired. And by the end of the day, something incredible has happened. Students leave not just smarter, but more confident, more courageous, and more connected than when they arrived. Because at Walnut, we don't just teach students, we help shape who they are becoming. And one thing they carry with them long after they leave is this. Once a magneteer, always a magneteer. So now we invite you to see it for yourself, a glimpse into the energy, the joy, and the heart of Walnut. On the count of 3, what are we gonna do today? 1, 2, 3, do our best today! Thank you.
We now have a small video for you to enjoy.
I feel like new sunglasses, like a brand new pair of I see like windows roll down the city streets and guys. I feel like anything can happen in life, and you take me right back to we were. If all I feel like this, like when I close my eyes, don't even care if anyone sees me dance. Like I can fly, don't even think time is ground. Like a heart skip, like an open grave, like a warrior trip on an airplane. That I feel brand new. I feel like a young junkie sad, like making a big mistake. I feel like for the first time in a long time, I am not afraid. I feel like a kid. Never thought it feels like this. Like when I close my eyes, don't even care if anyone sees me dance. Like I can fly, don't even think time is ground. Like a heartbeat skip, like an open grave, like a one-way trip on an aeroplane. It's the way that I feel when I'm with you. Brand new. I feel like a young junkie sad, like making a big mistake. I feel like for the first time in a long time, I am not afraid. I feel like a kid. Never thought it feels like this. Like when I close my eyes, don't even care if anyone sees me. Like I can fly, don't even think it's all to the ground. Like a heartbeat skip, like an open grave, like a one-way trip on an aeroplane. I feel when I'm with you. Brand new. Like when I close my eyes, don't even care if anyone sees me dancing. Like I can fly, don't even think I'm touching the ground. Like a heartbeat skip, like an open grave, like a one-way trip on an aeroplane.
We'd like to thank Walnut for that fine presentation and the work by the students. At this time, the retirement recognition, Mr. Solera.
All right. Well,
Good evening, board members, colleagues, community members, and our most honored guest, our retirees. Tonight is one of the highlights of our school year. It is a moment when the Board of Trustees and our entire educational community say a heartfelt thank you to the individuals who have been the backbone of Turlock schools. The retirees we honor tonight represent decades of faithful, dedicated service. You have shaped the lives of countless students, supported your colleagues, and left an indelible mark on our schools and our departments. On behalf of the district, I want to thank you for your unwavering commitment. To ensure each of you gets the well-deserved moment in the spotlight, I'd like to briefly explain how we'll proceed with our acknowledgements this evening. I'll invite the board to come out front, or we're going to be to ensure that our guests get the when I call your name, you'll be, when your name is called by your administrator, please come forward to the podium and be greeted by your administrator. I'll give you a little hello, a little handshake. After that, you'll be invited to walk down the line and be recognized by our student board representatives, the board of trustees, and finishing with our board president. While you're moving down the line and being greeted by the board, your administrator will be reading a short tribute highlighting your career and service. Once you've reached the end of the line, you may return to your seat and enjoy the rest of the ceremony. After everyone has been acknowledged, our board president will offer a final thanks. While you are more than welcome to stay for the remainder of the board meeting after that, you can understand if you choose to depart and take time to celebrate with your families. For those looking to capture the moment, we have a photo backdrop available outside. You may have seen the backdrops on the way in. You're more than welcome to use those to take family photos with friends and colleagues. But to begin our presentation, I would like to first introduce Cheryl Abazi to the podium to recognize our first retirees.
Good evening, folks. Tonight, today we celebrate Lisa Mackenzie Miller, who has worked at Brown Elementary since 1995. Lisa, please come up. Lisa began her career as a resource specialist, and then later transitioned to second grade. Her passion for academics inspired countless students to achieve beyond their expectations. One of her greatest loves was teaching students to read. You won't find a second grade classroom with a bigger library than Lisa. Lisa, you have had a remarkable career and have left an indelible mark on Brown Elementary. Our entire community will always be grateful for your service. As you step into retirement, I know you will continue to inspire those around you. We wish you all the best in this next adventure. Congratulations and happy retirement. Our next retiree is Stephanie Betancourt, and unfortunately she had a prior commitment and couldn't make it today. But today we celebrate Stephanie Betancourt, who has served as a special education paraprofessional in Turlock Unified District for 20 years. Across every classroom and setting she worked in, Stephanie played an integral role in her students' well-being, guiding their academic growth, social emotional development, and helping them build coping strategies. She arrived every day with a smile, an unwavering drive to impact lives, and an authentic passion for her craft. Stephanie, we wish you all the best in this next chapter of your life. As you step into retirement, we know you will find new purpose and joy in your next adventure. Congratulations on an amazing, amazing career. I would now like to ask our superintendent, David Latta, to come to the podium. Thank you.
Good evening. This evening, I'd like to recognize Mr. Barney Gordon, who served our school community as the leader of our business services department for nearly 7 years. He confidently led a number of initiatives that increased school meal participation, campus safety, and eco-friendly transportation services. Barney led with a passion for his community, as he was often seen volunteering personal time to create opportunities for students, including the Review of Champions Band Review, held at PHS each year. Congratulations on your retirement, Barney, and thank you for your service. I do not believe Mr. Brooks with us this evening. Next up from the Cunningham Elementary School, Principal Ed Ellerson.
My two retirees could not be here tonight, but we are going to celebrate them. My first retiree is Linda Boone. After 35 years of dedicated service, Linda Boone leaves a lasting legacy as a champion of literacy and a respectful teacher at Cunningham Elementary. Throughout her impactful career as a teacher, specialist, and consultant, she brought deep expertise and an unwavering commitment to her students. Her influence extended across campus as she mentored new teachers and shared research-based practices to strengthen instruction for all. As she retires, we celebrate the indelible mark her compassion and excellence has left on our community and wish her great joy in the years ahead. Next, we have Nellie Tovar. After 7.5 years of dedicated service, we celebrate her retirement with deep gratitude for being the steady, uplifting heart of Cunningham Elementary. Your professionalism and warmth brought both excellence and joy to our school, creating a sense of stability that we all relied on. Your legacy lives on through the family-like atmosphere you helped through and the efficient, smooth-running office you maintain. We will miss you dearly and truly wish you a retirement filled with relaxation and happiness you truly deserve.
Our first retiree is Monica Gomez, and she could not be here tonight. I have the honor of recognizing Mrs. Monica Castro Gomez, who has been an employee of TUSD for 19 years. She began her career in clerical at TJHS, transferred to Cunningham, back to TJHS, and finally to Dutcher Middle School. Over the years, she has enjoyed working with the students and parents and is going to miss her Dutcher colleagues. In her retirement, she's looking forward to just taking it easy, maybe taking some classes and doing some volunteer work. Monica, thank you for your years of service, and we wish you the very best in your retirement. Our next retiree is William Marson. Or Bill Marson, as I know him. I have the honor of recognizing Mr. Bill Marson, who has been working in education as a teacher for over 32 years. Bill has gone from being an explorer to being a dolphin to finally a diamondback. His most memorable moments are teaching his 3 kids, his nieces and nephews, performing in the band for our musicals, and singing at lunchtime for our students. In his retirement, Bill is looking forward to spending time with his grandson, visiting family, golfing, and finding places to play music with his partner, Roger Sperry. Bill's departing wish is that DMS continues to stand out as a place for kids to learn and grow into happy and healthy adults. We wish you the best in your retirement, Bill. Congratulations. Now, Principal Pimentel.
All right, it's my honor to welcome Melanie Swanson up here. All right, Melanie was a dedicated health professional for Dennis Turlock for many years, and the support she gave to students, advice to staff, and her passion to her work were invaluable to the community. Since retiring, she has traveled to Europe with her family, has been helping with her daughter's wedding this month,
and catching up with family and friends. She's been able to be a support to her friends in their time of need, is excited that her son and daughter-in-law will be living closer to her now, and is awaiting grandbabies in the future. Melody shared that life is beyond good. Congratulations, Melody. Next up, we have Angela Freeman.
Good evening. I'm honored to recognize Shelley Santos, Director of Recognition. Shelley Santos, the Director of Elementary Education. I'm honored to recognize her for an incredible 35-year career in education. During her 19 years with TUSD, she served as a dedicated principal, a visionary district leader who pioneered programs like dual immersion and the science of reading. Shelley's commitment to professional learning and student intervention has built a lasting foundation for our schools and fostered deep collaborative relationships with her staff. As she retires, to enjoy well-deserved time with her family and her new grandchildren, one in the back here making some noise. Her leadership and her presence in ed services will be deeply missed. Thank you, Shelley, for your profound impact and years of dedicated service. I would like to introduce the Director of Child Nutrition, Jennifer Lubang.
Good evening. I have the honor today to introduce Colleen Jerner, who is a child nutrition cashier server. She began her dedicated career as a child nutrition food service assistant 1 in 1993, serving the Pittman High community for over 30 years. She transformed the cafeteria into a welcoming environment by learning students' names and bringing vibrant energy to the Pittman Pride Cafe with her popular pizza recipes. Her impact was so significant that meal participation directly reflected her presence, proving how much students valued her music and her bubbly personality. Colleen's genuine care has left a lasting legacy across generations, my husband included, and we wish her the very happy and well-deserved treatment during retirement. Colleen is unfortunately unable to make it. I would like to next introduce Joseph Sobera, the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources.
Good evening, everybody. It is my pleasure to say a few words about Denise DeWill. Denise, your dedication, diligence, and passion over the last 32 years have left an indelible mark on our educational community. Your distinguished career began in the classroom as an English teacher and an instructional coach, roles that ultimately led you to your true calling, supporting the next generation of educators as TUSD's induction coordinator. In this vital role to our district, you have mentored countless teachers, empowering them to become their students' greatest advocates and ensuring they have the tools to thrive. TUSD extends its deepest gratitude for your years of service. Your knowledge, dedication, and passion will be greatly missed. We wish you a fulfilling retirement filled with quality time with your family, your beloved dogs, and many new adventures in traveling and learning. Congratulations, Denise.
Good evening. Unfortunately, none of the Jubilee honorees were able to make it, but I still am excited to recognize them, starting with Stephanie Bosch. For the past 21 years, Ms. Bosch has been rewarded with first grade learning fun and more glitter than she ever expected. She has valued the time with colleagues as well as the wonderful aha moments with students, but she won't miss the 5 a.m. alarm. We wish Ms. Bosch a wonderful time in her garden, traveling, and enjoying her leisurely morning coffee. Next is Heather Davis. Mrs. Davis has spent the past 30 years watching students grow up while she works hard to make a difference every day in the lives of first graders. In retirement, she is looking forward to time with her family, going to the gym when it's not busy, traveling outside of peak season, and spending more time with her husband. We are grateful to Heather for the passion and dedication she has shown to USD, as well as the students of Julie, and we wish her great joy in her retirement. Finally, Georgette Banoffee. Ms. Banoffee worked tirelessly for TUSD for 20 years as a severe paraprofessional, supporting the needs of our students within the moderate severe SDC classrooms. She came to work every day with a smile and dedication to what is best for students within the program, and she could always be counted on to step up and help anytime a student demonstrated need. We've missed Georgette this year, but we know she's been enjoying her time in retirement. Next up, I'd like to welcome Veronica McHale.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Medeiros has one retiree this evening, and that is April Brown. Ms. Brown has been a passionate educator who has touched the hearts of countless students at Medeiros and throughout TUSD. Her quick wit, warm personality, and bright smile will be missed by all who have had the honor of working with her. As she begins this new chapter in her life, we wish her the very best and hope that she hits it big at the casinos. Now I want to welcome up Erica Ramos.
Good evening. We have one retiree for this year, Mr. Francisco Vega, who unfortunately was not able to make it this evening. Mr. Vega has shown that his classroom has a place where mistakes were part of learning, where courage was built word by word, and where students discovered that their voices matter. In more than one language, he's shaped not only our bilingual learners, but thoughtful, empathetic individuals who carry lessons far beyond school walls. The impact of his work cannot be measured over the years alone. It lives in every student who dares to speak up, who connects across cultures, and who remembers the patience, encouragement, and the belief that he's shown. We'd like to thank Mr. Francisco Vega. Next up, principal from Pittman High, Ms. Janine Archeladen.
Good evening. All right, we have two retirees from Pittman High tonight. We are going to begin with Julie Olowski. Julie Olowski has worked as an educator at Pittman High School since 2002. As one of the original members of the Pride family, she was instrumental in laying the foundation for many of the activities and traditions that continue to hold strong at Pittman High. Julie hopes that her legacy reflects her philosophy that kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. We wish you the very best in your retirement, Julie. Up next for Pittman High School, we have Mr. Harvey Maribel. He's not able to be here this evening, but we will honor him anyway. Harvey Maribel worked as an educator at Pittman High School since 2002. As a business teacher and basketball coach, Harvey positively supported hundreds of students and student athletes during his years with the Pride. His former colleague, Dave Walls, shared that Harvey's emphasis on the core aspects of value, respect, responsibility, fairness, and care made a significant impact on his students in the classroom and on the basketball court.
Congratulations, Harvey. Principal from Roseland High School, Michelle Bliss.
Good evening. Our honoree and retirer is not here this evening, but he was with us for 3 years and dedicated service as a parent educator. Isaac Diaz has transitioned into retirement while leaving behind a meaningful impact on both colleagues and students, known for his reliability and positive presence. He built strong connections within the workplace and became a trusted mentor to students, offering guidance and encouragement in the listening ear. In retirement, Isaac has embraced his love for gardening and watching them thrive. When we talk about students, make that students to be supported throughout this time in service. We thank you, Isaac. Next up is from the Special Education Department.
Good evening. I'll be introducing Laura Kiss. Laura Kiss is a TUSD legend whose impact spans decades and multiple school sites. Known for her boundless kindness and advocacy for her students, she has been a cornerstone of the TUSD community. Her career was defined by a rare brand of dedication, one that turned classrooms into second homes and colleagues into family. As she begins this well-deserved retirement, we celebrate a legacy of positivity that will resonate in Turlock for generations. Thank you, Laura.
It is my honor tonight to honor our outstanding school nurse, Seema Najee. Today we celebrate the retirement of Seema Najee, a dedicated school nurse who turned a substitute role at Turlock Unified into a lifelong passion. Known for her limitless dedication and kindness, she consistently went above and beyond to support her students and their families. Her deep compassion and incredible work ethic left a lasting impact on our district and made her an absolute joy to work with. We thank Seema for her outstanding service and wish her a healthy, fulfilling retirement as a beloved member of the TUSD family. Thank you, Seema. We're good to miss you. And next up, our esteemed superintendent, Mr. David Laddie.
Oh, man. Sherry. Sherry Rosenberg joined TUSD. Joined our TUSD team 9 years ago as a member of the superintendent's office team. Over the past 2 years, she has been the administrative assistant to the school board and superintendent, where she trained in her first year in the new role, a new superintendent and 4 new trustees. Her calm demeanor, thorough and timely communication, diligent research, and patience provide a very smooth transition for all. I believe I can speak for the governance team in saying we all very much appreciate you, Sherry, and thank you for your work. and even more so for the person you are. Congratulations.
The first one is Evelyn Costa, and I believe she this evening. I would like to congratulate Evelyn Costa, who has been a school bus driver with TUSD since 2016. Her dedication and focus on ensuring a safe environment for all of her students is much appreciated. We wish Evelyn the very best in her retirement. Next up, Joe Martinez. I'd like to congratulate Joe Martinez, who started with TUSD in 2015. Joe was a mechanic as well as a school bus driver. Joe's dedication to safety and reliability was demonstrated in our school bus fleet. Joe's expertise has been a cornerstone of our team. Thank you for your hard work, and we wish Joe the very best in his well-deserved retirement, and hope you enjoy spending time fishing on the lake, Joe. Next up is Karen Spatafor. I would like to congratulate Karen, who started with TUSD in 2003. Karen has been a bus driver for over 40 years. Karen has been a trusted, safe, and welcoming presence for our students. Karen was often the first person to greet our students in the morning and the last to ensure they return home safely. Your patience, kindness, and commitment to maintaining a positive, safe environment on your bus has made a lasting difference in the lives of countless children. We wish you the very best in your retirement, and may it be filled with fun times with your grandchildren. I would like to introduce John Acuff for Dave Klein. Or is it Dave? I'm sorry. Okay, Dave, come on up, Dave Klein. Sorry about that.
Good evening. Dave Klein, proud principal of Turlock High. The first person there to speak about is Raquel Aguilar. She could not be here. Raquel Aguilar has been a Bulldog for 29 years, culminating with her serving as the attendance specialist. As she moved into her last position, she was always quiet, professional, and polite as she served our Bulldog family and helped those who were in new positions in attendance. She developed mutual appreciation with those who she worked closely with, accentuated with lunch, usually soup, salad, and endless breadsticks at Olive Garden. She chose to leave THS quietly, but her impact will still be felt. Enjoy retirement, Raquel. Next up is Mike Brown. I met Mike Brown approximately 35 years ago at the TUSD New Teacher Orientation meeting and thought he'd be a great guy to get to know and work with. And wouldn't you know it, 32 years later, it was proved that I was exactly right. In addition to being a patient and dedicated educator, a wonderful coach, 20 years of cross country, 23 years for track, and 10 years for basketball, and a thorough athletic director for 7 years. He's also a wonderful caterer. During his time as an educator, he used some of his summers to fish for salmon in Alaska with a fellow Bulldog, as well as riding his motorcycle. Enjoy a well-deserved retirement, Mr. Brown, Coach Brown, A.D. Brown, and Coach Doug Cornfoot. Doug Cornfoot, a member of the most successful team in the history of Stanislaus State, has been a Bulldog for 20 years, serving expertly as a special education teacher, with many of those years serving as a THS head basketball coach. He has earned and maintained tremendous respect from classified, certificated, and administrative staff and students. He is a consistent participant in the THS Breakfast Club. He helped create a pleasant and positive start to the day. Coach Cornfoot, to encourage a wonderful retirement, quoting a line from your favorite song, "Start Me Up" from the Rolling Stones. Coach Cornfoot, during retirement, ride like the wind, at double speed, go places that you've never seen. Take care, Mr. Cornfoot, and enjoy a well-deserved retirement. I'd like to introduce Joe Cosenza, sir. Mr. Cosenza has been an educator for over 35 years, assuming multiple roles, starting as a substitute teacher, summer school, and adult school teacher, coach from 1988 to 1989, baseball, football, softball, girls basketball, tennis, and golf. Campus supervisor, special education teacher, dean, and assistant principal for 25 years, overseeing special education. Not one fair hearing in that time. The closer you work with Joe, the more you realize that he's a dedicated professional who will speak his mind, but with the goal of helping students, all students, including those who need it. As you listen to him speak and take in his knowledge through his Joeisms, it is apparent that he would never expect more of someone than he would expect of himself, but he would have to say that he expects a lot of himself. Enjoy retirement, Joe. Now I'd like to introduce Mr. John Aka. You guys say that.
I'm honored here to celebrate Dr. David Klein as he enters a well-deserved retirement. As returning to USD as Turlock High School's principal, Dave has been celebrated for his witty personality and his ability to build meaningful relationships with everyone on campus. From his signature one-liners like "Hasta la pasta," "Fair enough," "Later Gator," goes on and on. To his constant presence at student events. Recently, a parent told me Mr. Klein is on another level when it comes to supporting the Bulldog community. While we'll miss his fun-loving spirit, we know he'll still be the biggest fan in the stands during his retirement. Congratulations, Dr. Reverend Klein, on a one-of-a-kind career that has truly knocked our socks off.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aka. With 31 as a counseling and enriched teacher, tirelessly managing students who have very specific needs, requiring patience and tremendous skills. His peers have stated that he has endless knowledge, incredible energy, and genuine love for his work as a teacher, and he goes above and beyond to help his students. Despite this challenging position, he maintains a great sense of humor, producing countless laughs. In addition, he has been an excellent mentor to many of his fellow educators. He has also served as a football coach for 16 years and a wrestling coach for 42 years. Enjoy a well-deserved retirement, Rodney. Next, we have Mr. Sheets, who couldn't be here tonight. Mr. Bobby Sheets has been at Turlock High for 22 years, 28 years total as an educator, as a culinary arts teacher, a work experience teacher, and a coach of basketball and baseball. He's always been a dedicated educator, developing a growth mindset and a diligent work ethic with his students. His legacy will not easily be forgotten, as his educational history is dynamic, but his Friday lunches from the Bulldog Lair will go down in history as a much appreciated and much needed place of gathering for Bulldogs, Julian Mustangs, and the district office folks. All the best, Mr. Sheets. Enjoy retirement. Now I'd like to introduce Principal Augustine Ariola of Turlock Junior. Sir.
Dr. David Klein is also a proud principal of Turlock Junior High School as well. I have the honor of introducing Turlock Junior High School science teacher Elizabeth Batista Silvera. She started her career during the Reagan administration. Just think about how many families and multi-generations that she's impacted. A total of 38 years servicing our students and families. Her calm presence, strong content knowledge, and consistent impact have shaped multiple generations. She has brought both professionalism and joy to our campus, with colleagues noting her love of dancing. We thank her for her service and wish her well-deserved and joyful retirement. Keep on dancing, Elizabeth. Next up, I'll introduce Wakefield Elementary Principal, Dr. Maria Vigil.
Good evening. My retiree is not here today, but I'd still like to honor her. I have the privilege of recognizing Florinda Silva, who has served at Wakefield Elementary for the past 7 years as a special education paraprofessional. Florinda has offered her students patience, authenticity, and so much kindness. Her work ethic is admirable and has positively impacted the overall success of our students. Wakefield wishes her a joyful retirement and will miss her contagious energy and smile on our campus. Congratulations, Florinda. Next up, Morgan Dossetti, Director of Maintenance and Operations.
Good evening. I have the honor of calling up Dave Flippins. After decades of unwearying dedication, we bid a heartfelt farewell to Dave Flippins, whose career has been devoted to caring for every building at Walnut and the people within it since its opened. From the quiet early mornings to the busy afternoons, Dave was here keeping our spaces safe, clean, and welcoming. His pride in his work went far beyond just his custodial duties. He nurtured a sense of comfort and well-being for all who passed through Walnut corridors. Thanks, Dave. President Silva.
Well, just a few words. Every time at this year I look at all the graduates from our campuses, and I always wonder, where will they find their little niche in life? Well, after seeing all the retirees this evening, I know they were well prepared, and we need their expertise to help fill this place. We've had some fantastic educators over the years, and we appreciate your service. Thanks again.
Last one tonight, they're still leaving.
Trish, don't let it bother you.
Good evening, President Silva, members of the board, Superintendent Gladdick, and members of our community. Tonight, we welcome Dr. Timothy McClarney from True North Research to present the results of our recent community survey. The purpose of this effort was to gather information designed to help us understand what's important to our community, including general feelings about our schools, our facilities, and opportunities for our students. Dr. McClarney, thank you for being here.
Good evening, President Silva, members of the board. I'm Dr. Tim McClarney. I'm the president of True North Research. We are a firm that for about 25 years has specialized in working with school districts and other types of public agencies in using surveys to help them develop a statistically reliable understanding of the communities and districts they serve. To date, my business partner and I, working as a two-person team, have designed and conducted over 1,500 research studies for public agencies. And about half of the work that we do is what we call revenue measure feasibility studies, similar to what we're going to be talking about here tonight, where the goal is to understand if it's feasible to move forward with some type of bond measure, for example, and if it is feasible, to understand how you might go about structuring that measure in a way that it's consistent with the type of measure that your community is interested in supporting. Having to say that we've had a long, successful track record working with our clients on these. To date, our research has underpinned about $42 billion in voter-approved measures around the state. And for those that we've recommended go to ballot based on our research, we've had a 93% success rate. So I mention that mainly because as I go through tonight's presentation, I may make comments about how the results were seen here in your district compared to what we typically see. I just want you to have a sense for the experience base from which I'd be speaking. I also welcome questions from the board along the way or at the end, whichever is your preference. Okay, so before we jump in and talk about the results, I'll take a moment to review the purpose of the study as well as the methodology. In terms of the purpose of the study, a bond measure feasibility study is really designed to address the three bullets you see here on the screen. The first is to understand that basic question of, is it feasible? And in this case, you were thinking about companion bonds. Determine if companion bonds are feasible. And what I mean by that is if you as a board were to choose to move forward with a measure, does it have a reasonable chance of success? The answer to that question isn't always yes. Sometimes we do this research and we really can't see a path to get you from where you are today to where you have a good shot at success on election day, and I'd be the first person to tell you that if that's the case. When we do find that a measure is feasible, that second bullet kicks into gear, which is to understand how might you go about structuring this measure in a way that it's consistent with the type of measure that your community is interested in supporting. So there's lots of components to a potential bond measure. There's obviously the price tag. What is the aggregate bond amount going to be? What's the underlying tax rate that would be consistent with that? There's the project list. So whether the measures are successful, how do you intend to spend the funds in terms of your facilities? There's questions about timing, accountability provisions. So there's all these sort of facets to a bond measure that the survey can guide those decisions. And then finally, it's an opportunity for us to understand the role that information plays in shaping voters' opinions about your proposal, which in turn can help guide future communications and outreach. So in terms of the methodology, we use the same methodology here that we always use when we're talking about a bond measure feasibility study like this. And so the first question you always want to answer yourself is, what election is this measure being considered for? Why? Because different elections have different turnouts, and as you expand and you shrink turnout, you will tend to get a somewhat different profile to the group of people who are participating in that election. So in this particular case, we're looking at the potential of a November 2026 measure. So we identified every voter within your district that is what we call a likely November voter. These are individuals who, based on when they registered to vote in the district, what elections they've taken advantage of and participated in since that point, as well as other demographics we expect would actually cast ballots in this upcoming November election. We then use a process called stratified clustered random sampling. I can get into the details of that if you like, but suffice to say what it allows us to do is to ensure that both at the sampling stage and at the end of our data collection process, we have a sample of voters for our survey that matches the profile of that likely November universe on all the dimensions that we know to drive how people behave when it comes to bond measures. So the balance in our sample by gender, age, partisanship, household party type, where they live within your district, the balance in our sample matches the balance of that universe. Once we pull our sample, we use 3 different recruiting methods: email, text, and telephone. Folks have the opportunity to participate either by telephone or online, whichever was their preference, as well as in English and Spanish. The survey was conducted in April, right? So it's really recent data. Obviously, there's been a lot going on, both domestically and internationally, over the last 4 or 5 months. This data is pretty much up to date as of middle of April, so it captures a lot of that. And so the sample size for this study, because you have sort of a unique district in that everybody's within the high school portion of your district, but a subset, about 90%, are also within the element. There we go. Is that a little better? We don't have that funky feedback. All right. So because your district has this situation, which is we've run into a couple times before, where everybody's within the high school portion of the district, but about 90% are within the elementary and middle school portion. That creates a scenario where you have 2 potential ballot measures. You have Measure A for your high schools, Measure A for the streets of the survey. You have a separate bond for your elementary schools, and it would be that second bond would only be for about 90% of the voters in your electorate. So all 510 of the individuals we surveyed for the survey are within their district-wide. They received Measure A, and about 90% of those, or 460 of them, also received Measure 60 randomly selected voters respectively. The survey has a margin of error due to sampling. For the Measure A, it's plus or minus 4.3% of the 95% confidence level. For Measure B, which is a little bit smaller sample size, is plus or minus 4.5%. So what that basically means is we can be 95% confident that the results shared with you here tonight are within either 4.3% or 4.5% of what we would have found had we spoken with all of your likely November voters. Okay, so on to the results. So this first slide shows the results of what we call the importance issues question. For each of the issues you see there on the slide, we simply ask voters to tell us how important is this to you. Is it extremely important, very important, somewhat important, or not at all important? They are asked in a random order in the survey, but I've sorted them from high to low here based on that combined percentage of folks who said it's either extremely or very important. This is a great warm-up question. Just kind of gets folks in the group taking the survey, thinking about their community. But it's also an opportunity for us to understand how the topic of education, in particular, maintaining the quality of education in local schools, how does this topic stack up against some of these other issues that also compete for tax dollars? Things like maintaining local streets and roads. And in particular, where does maintaining the quality of education in local public schools stack up against the issue of preventing local tax increases? It is a rough rule of thumb. It is surprisingly predictive, right? The higher up in the list and the more importance that voters place on maintaining the quality of education in local public schools relative to the issue of preventing local tax increases, the better position you are to move forward with some type of measure. In your community, the number one issue was in fact maintaining the quality of education in local schools at 91%. So that's either extremely or very important. Followed by reducing crime and gang activity and maintaining local streets and roads. If you look down the list, third up from the bottom is preventing local tax increases. That's jumped in at 68%. So you have a 23% gap between those 2 items, right? That 23-point gap oddly enough, is the average gap that we found among districts that we worked with in a 2024 cycle. So the typical district, we were finding a 23% gap. Some were a little larger, some were a little smaller, but on average 23%. So you're right in the middle of what we typically find in that scenario. So one other thing I will point out though, if you look a little, what ends up preventing local tax increases is this facility-oriented item, repairing and upgrading aging school facilities. Checks in a little bit higher than preventing local tax increases, but quite a bit lower than maintaining the quality of education in local public schools. I point that item out not because it's unusual, but in fact we see that pattern all the time, but it's kind of a reminder that when it comes to schools and education, what voters care about the most is what happens inside your facilities, not what's going on with your facilities themselves. And so anytime you're moving forward with a bond measure, and there's also often a disconnect in voters' minds between the thing they care the most about, quality of education in schools, but how do facilities feed into that, right? And so anytime you're moving forward with a bond measure, you're always wanting to sort of be connecting the dots between what it is you're building and what it is you're fixing, but why does it ultimately matter in the classroom in terms of your ability to educate students? So after that warm-up question, we get right down to business with what we call the initial ballot test. And the idea behind the initial ballot test is we want to present to respondents a mock-up of what we think that 75-word ballot statement could look like if it were placed on the ballot and get their reaction. The initial ballot test is a really good gauge of where your community is at on the natural with respect to this proposal because they haven't heard or seen anything about this beyond what you see here on the slide. So it takes the form of a 75-word ballot statement for a bond measure that is legally compliant. This is the Measure A version. So this is the one for the high schools, right? And we had tested a $79 million bond, levies a tax rate of $30 per 100,000 assessed. We also, for those voters who are in SFID number 1, which is about 90% of the voters in your district, we also tested Measure B. This would be a separate bond, right, for your elementary and middle schools, a little bit smaller, 62 million, same tax rate. So that was the language we tested, and here are the results. So at that initial ballot test for Measure A, which is up on the left, we found 61% of voters say that they would support this proposal, 27% opposed, with the rest unsure. To the right, Measure B tests a little stronger. We had 64% of voters say they would support Measure B, 26% opposed, the rest unsure. So in the state of California, for a Prop 39 bond to be successful or approved, you need 55%. So at the initial ballot test for Measure A, we're about 6 points north of that 55% threshold required for passage. And for Measure B, we're about 9 points north of that threshold. Now, naturally, support for any type of bond measure can depend on the price tag. And the higher you make that tax rate that underlies the bond, all other things being equal, the lower the level of support. We wanted to make it clear in the survey that bonds mean taxes, right? We're not playing hide the ball with that. And we tested 2 different tax rates for each of the bonds there to see what sort of tax rate sensitivity voters in your district have with respect to these measures. So this is for Measure A. We tested a $30 per 100,000 assessed valuation tax rate, which you can see had about 48% support. For anybody who was not a definitely yes at $30, we step it down to $24, and you can see that as you step it down to $24 per 100,000, support goes to 50%. But the moment you sort of focus voters' attention on the price tag, you get a cooling effect in terms of support for your proposal. That's natural. Again, we see that all the time. Same basic pattern for Measure B, 48% and 51% respectively. So after the tax threshold section, we get into what we call the projects and improvements section of the poll. And the idea here is we're going to do 2 things. One is we're going to start to educate respondents more about what these bond measures could accomplish by unpacking. Up till this point, they'd only seen the initial ballot test where we had about 75 words to describe the measure. You can only see so much about what you're going to do with the funds in that way. In the projects and improvements section, we get to elaborate on that, right? We get to unpack your bond into a series of specific projects and improvements that can be funded, and in that way, we're giving them a better idea about what the measure's about. It's also an opportunity for us to understand of all the ways you're considering spending bond proceeds, how do voters feel about each of these ways, and which of these are priorities. I've broken into 2 slides here, Tier 1 and Tier 2, just because it's a lot easier to read than if I put it all on one slide. But you can see that everything on the list in Tier 1 here has at least 80% of respondents tell us that they would favor spending some of the bond proceeds proceeds on these items. When you look at the things that are on this list, it basically boils down to repairs to your older facilities. That's in one way or another what the top three are about. There's an item about overcrowding and safety, and then you have CTE and STEM. I get to do this for a lot of districts around the state, and I can tell you that when you stack up all the things that voters tend to sort of prioritize when it comes to school bonds, it's taking care of the facilities you already have. Right? So if you've got older facilities, it's taking care of those. It's CTE and it's STEM. Right? So what we're seeing here in terms of that pattern is very typical. And then we also tested some other items that you can see here on the list. A little less support for these, but still everything on this list had at least 70% of voters say they would support the proposal, or support spending some of the money on that item. Now, if you as a board were to choose to place a measure on the November ballot, there's going to be an election cycle, and during that election cycle, there would be a lot of discussion and debate in the community about this proposal. You know, undoubtedly have some folks who would step up and go out to the community, talk to their friends and neighbors about why this is needed, why they should vote yes. You might also get some critics. People step up and say, it's a terrible idea, you shouldn't be doing it, and here's why. For this survey to be a reliable gauge of the feasibility of a bond measure, we need to simulate that discussion and debate in the space of the poll, so we have an understanding not only where your voters are at on the natural, but what happens after they hear positives and negatives, as they will undoubtedly if you were to move forward during an election cycle. So we test both positive and negatives here. You see the top tier positive arguments we tested. And the ones at the top are interesting because we saw in the projects that had to do with taking care of your older facilities were the ones that were at the top of the list for voters' priorities. When you look at the positive arguments we tested, they were really oriented that same way. So we talk about the age of your facilities, the number of roof leaks, the number of portable classrooms you have that are 20 plus years old. So you can actually quantify some of your needs, and those became the number one and number two positive arguments respectively. And we tested a series of second tiers as well. We also tested opposition arguments, which you see here, the negative arguments. And the idea here is I want to pressure test voter support for these proposals, right? I want to be able to pepper them with a series of opposition arguments, the kind of things that you might hear from a critic of these bonds, because we want to know, you know, if you were to move forward and should you get vocal opposition, how might that ultimately impact support for a proposal? So we test a series of negative arguments here. The number one there at the top is pretty much the number one negative that I have tested statewide in just about every single school on this cycle, and it's about affordability and cost of living. In case you haven't figured this one out yet, that affordability and cost of living is going to be the theme, right, of this primary. It is going to be the theme all the way to November, right? That is going to be a dominant sort of theme for this election cycle, and so we went ahead and crafted a negative argument that went right at that, right? So the point here is let's test some hard-hitting negative arguments and expose voters to that as well. So now at this point in the poll, voters heard a lot more about these proposals than they did at the initial ballot test. We got to talk in detail about the tax rates, right? We saw that had a chilling effect on voter support for the proposal. We got to test positive arguments. We also tested negatives. So we circle back at the end to what we call the final ballot test. We present the same 75-word ballot statement, say now that you've heard a bit more where you stand. And what you can see here is that both of the measures at this point check in at 53% support. So that's about an 8-point drop for measure A and about an 11-point drop for measure B over the course of the survey. And that's really in response to the, you know, the more focused discussion we had about the tax rates, as well as exposing them to the opposition arguments. And so they're both landing about 2 points below the 55% threshold that's required for passage. All right, last slide. So what does all this mean? So I want to circle back first to that overarching question I mentioned at the outset as kind of the main motivator for why you do this research, which is to answer that question of, is it feasible, right? If you as a board were to choose to place it on the ballot, does that have a reasonable chance of success? You know, these are challenging numbers because they're the kind of results that say you can win, and they're also the kind of results that say you can lose, right? It's really dependent a lot on sort of external factors that would be outside of the district's control, and these sort of things at the bottom of the list there. So for my professional assessment, I think the bond measures look risky for 2026, and my general approach to recommendations to clients is when I think things look risky like that, rather than, you know, invest when things look risky, it's better to sort of look a little further down the line, right? Start planning potentially for a possible 2028 measure, and do things in the meantime that sort of set you up in terms of community outreach and education, helping people connect the dots between facilities and what you do and how that connects your information to educating students. So my recommendation would be not to pursue a measure in 2026, but to sort of plan and look towards 2028. That said, I think there are some positive things that come out of this poll, right, that are worth commenting on. We saw that voters rank maintaining the quality of education in local schools as the #1 issue in the community, right? They care about your schools. We saw that right out of the gates, based on that 75-word ballot statement, you had sufficient support of 61 and 64% support for these bonds. So the national reaction was a positive one. Everything we tested in terms of projects and improvements, things that you could fund with these bonds, those were popular with voters. And we also saw that you had positive arguments that resonated. That said, tax rate sensitivity we saw there, the environment we're in currently, the macroeconomic environment we're in, people are sensitive to cost of living, and you tend to see a little more tax sensitivity in these types of times. We saw that those opposition arguments do resonate. And the biggest concern I have is really the third bullet under challenges and external factors is there's just a lot of things going on outside of your district that can nevertheless shape how the November 2026 measure would go. Not the least of which is, the economy and inflation. We've got more, put $8 diesel in my truck for the last 2 weeks in a row. That's, people aren't used to that, and they feel it, right? You also might have some competing measures on the ballot. And let's face it, we kind of have a low energy governor's race this cycle, right? Normally, you come into a California governor's race and you're thinking, we've got a lot of energy there, and people want to turn out. And this one, I struggle to name 3 different people who are in this governor's race. Anytime you kind of have that, you don't have a lot of energy in the election. Sometimes that can also create some challenges. So that's the end of my presentation. I can answer any questions if there are any from the board.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Ms. Ramirez?
So on positive, sorry about that. So thank you for your presentation. So on positive arguments, tier 2, page 13, it says that if voters approve measures, schools will be eligible to receive about $45 million in state matching money. That's right now. That may not be in a couple of years. And then we also are looking at new revise, new governor, just some, as you were saying, so many variables.
Yeah, so the state money, it's a pot of money there. You can get in line, right? My understanding is the line for the last statewide school bond is already pretty long, right? So we usually couch that positive, like you're eligible when the money is available. If you were to pass a bond and start to do these projects, you're going to be eligible. It may take another statewide bond for the funds to be there, right? So you may not get it out of this existing one, you may get it out of the next one, but that's how it works.
So would that be for both measure A and B collectively, or?
I think it is. I mean, this is where it is a little complicated. And you really want to talk to your facilities and finance people about this to figure out of the projects you're doing, what your match expectations are. We had that discussion when we were designing the questionnaire. I don't remember the particulars of exactly, but I think it was a combined measure A and measure B.
So there isn't any funds that we can see at this time. All right, thank you.
Ms. Jackson?
I am our representative to CSBA, and we talk about this in the state, at the state level. I think my concern right now is that when Governor Brown was there, he looked at pension reform, and I asked our CFO, I don't know, she's amazing. And our finance guru is what I'll call Marjorie Betancourt. And Newsom came in and stopped doing pension reform, and his way of balancing the budget was basically on the backs of Prop 98 at one point, and CSBA went to fight for that. And so I'm nervous because there's usually a clear-cut winner, and it's not that way right now. And so to me, it's uneasy because we're talking about matching funds, and we need matching funds to help do these renovations that we're looking at right now. I mean, our schools are old. It's very frustrating, I think, especially when our athletic programs, we travel to more wealthier communities and their facilities look like junior colleges or beyond. And so, and I'm not saying that we need that to win because we are up there competing, but we have old schools. When our youngest school is what, 21? So I just think it's very interesting. And I'm very cautious and conservative in the sense if we're gonna ask people for money, we better make sure we know how to best use it. And I think your last point that you highlighted, we are living in challenging times, no matter how you look at it at the state and federal level. And I do really appreciate your information, because I appreciate, I will say this, I think I told our superintendent, I received a phone call for a survey, and I was like, it couldn't have been our survey, because we just decided this. I believe it was for our community college, YCCD, they were doing one. So obviously there's discussion. And we discussed within CSBA in our region, it was like Merced, Stanislaus, San Joaquin, Tuolumne, Calaveras counties, and everyone is very apprehensive of going out for a bond levy right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this study. I had a follow-up question. How long is the survey that you did? How long?
In terms of the interview itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, so on the telephone, it's usually about 16 minutes.
16.
It goes faster online, and most people prefer to take it online. It's usually 10, 12 minutes online.
If you get well, for me, if I get a survey, I answer like 3 questions, I'm done, right? Do you get that kind of response? Do you go on to somebody else if you get that?
So if somebody drops off, yeah, we replace them. And this is where I mentioned the stratified cluster rates. Well, what it allows us to do is if, for example, you were to take 3 questions and drop off, I could replace you with someone who shares your same profile in terms of age, gender, partisanship, who you live with, where you live within the district. And that's really the key to having this research be reliable in an age when not everyone's going to take the survey. Some people are going to refuse, some people are unreachable, right? But if I can replace them with someone who looks like they do from in terms of dimensions that matter for how they vote on bond measures, it works. So.
And then did you say that some of the people that you asked in the surveys were the same for Measure A and for Measure B? They were the same?
Most people are having to vote on both, right? Because if everyone was in the USD, then you'd probably have one bond that would cover middle, but because you have some voters who are in your high school part of the USD, but they are served by a different elementary school, you create this structure where you wind up having to have a bond for your high schools that's separate than the bond for your elementary and middle schools.
Mr. Shields? How many other bond measures in the groups that you're working with that are seeing something similar to this right now?
Well, I will say that we've probably got 25 districts that are at a stage where they've either done the baselines or earlier, like I consider this a baseline, right? This is the first one. We do baseline, say, in 2025, and they're coming back with tracking surveys either now or next month or so. And then we have cases like yours where the first survey is in the current period. And so we only have a couple of trackers, and I have seen some softening between 2025 and now, and it kind of makes sense, right? I mean, we didn't have a war in Iran, we didn't have gas at $6 to $8 a gallon. So anytime you have that, people feel the pinch. We're sort of surveying what is probably the most challenging thing in the last year, right? We've added all these economic factors.
Any other questions from the board? From the public? Dr. McClure, I'd like to thank you for your effort.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I'll do this right.
President Silva. Good evening, members of the government, Steve, reps, colleagues, and community members. Several opportunities to celebrate the work we do came through the annual SPI, the Partners in Education Luncheon, where we recognized our partnership with Grocery Outlet Bargain Market, Emmanuel Medical Center, MJC's CNA program, Diamond Bar Arena, and the Rotary Club of Turlock. I may have mentioned it before, but we recently recognized John Aka and Wendy Cook as Administrators of the Year at the annual Access Center Awards dinner, where John was recognized with the Value and Diversity Award, and Wendy was recognized as the Secondary Co-Administrator of the Year. Lastly, just this afternoon, we recognized 2 of our teachers as finalists for the Stanislaus County Teacher of the Year. Tammy Compton in the elementary grades 4 through 6 division, and Joy Escobar in the 9 through 12 division. We are very excited to announce that Tammy Compton was awarded the Stanislaus County Teacher of the Year in her division. Congratulations. And thank you to Maria Moreno for her outstanding nomination. Is Maria still there? All right. The TOC Family Resource Center held its final family information night of the school year, where 200 attendees enjoyed dinner prepared by the Kitchens for Change Club, heard engaging presentations from 3 community partners, and participated in a vibrant community resource fair. A highlight of the evening was hearing from 2 of our aspiring students, Abdul Rahim and Hamasa Mashal, who have earned full ride scholarships to UC Santa Barbara and Duke University, respectively. By the start, yeah, that's a good night. By the start of the 27-28 school year, a financial literacy course must be implemented as a graduation requirement for the class of 2031. It is still to be determined which grade level and what the full scope of rolling out this new requirement will look like in our school district, but work is underway. John Aka, Wendy Cook, Shelley Hesse, high school counselors and teachers attended a workshop to start digging more into the requirement and seek options for implementation. One idea that was shared is to replace the 1 semester economics graduation requirement that is currently in place, and it is encouraging to hear that there is interest in bringing local districts together in an effort to align our region on this requirement. This would help with any situations in which we have students transferring and trying to meet requirements of the local school district. Lastly, and unfortunately she's not here, and I'm super bummed about that, but it was an honor to recognize our student board representative, Maritza Jimenez, with the Superintendent Scholarship at Pittman High School Senior Awards Night last week. In partnership with Rotary Club of Turlock, Maritza received a $500 scholarship. And that
Next for communications, staff reports, TPA.
Good evening, Board President Silva, board members, Superintendent Laddick, administrators, fellow staff, and community members. My name is Meredith Pimentel. I am a 3rd grade teacher at Brown Elementary and president of Turlock Teachers Association. I want to take the time to acknowledge 2 of our colleagues, Sherry McMillan and Beverly Vanderlinden. They both received CTA School Bell Award on Friday, April 24th. They were recognized by colleagues for their contributions to their students and our profession. On Friday night, TTA recognized over 140 members for their years of service and honored 13 retirees at our annual TTA recognition dinner. TTA also is awarding 29 scholarships to our members graduating seniors in the amount of $250. We also awarded 12 scholarships in the amount of $500 to graduates pursuing a career in education. Congratulations to all the upcoming grads. We would like to thank all the retirees for their commitment and dedication to TUSD. We wish you the best in their next chapter. Still here. I wish everybody a great end to our year and have a great evening.
Thank you, Ms. Pimentel. Let's see, student reports. Ms. Williams, Turlock High School.
Good evening, Superintendent Laddick, President Silva, and members of the board.
Thank you for this opportunity to share the events, accomplishments happening at Turlock High School. We had our decision week this last week and it went great. We had games, prizes, and a rally to congratulate our seniors for their hard work over the past 4 years. We want to thank UC Davis School of Medicine, UC Merced, Stan State, and many more colleges for coming out and providing keepsakes for our students. Our tireless teacher for this week is Miss Colum. We appreciate her for all of the hard work she does for our students. In honor of Teacher Appreciation Week, ASB will be providing root beer floats for our entire staff on Friday. Science Olympiad competed in our annual Stanislaus regional competition, and we qualified for state for the 8th year in a row. Taddys Openheisen and Prabjo Carr competed at the state competition and medaled in the event titled Robot Tour. This past weekend, our students wrapped up their journey at the San Luis Obispo State Finals. Congratulations to all of them for their hard work and dedication this year. We medaled in Agriculture Mechanics, 10th highest team in the state, Floral, 7th high team in the state, Poultry, 10th highest team in the state, and Veg Crop, 7th high team in the state. The Turlock High School hosts a chapter is proud to report our highly successful year of student engagement and service. This year's blood drive achieved the largest outcome in THS history, with 212 pints of blood collected, an impact that is estimated to save approximately 636 lives. This accomplishment reflects the strong commitment of our students to community service. We will also be recognizing students who have successfully completed the CNA and EMT programs at THS and PHS during a ceremony at the PA building on May 14th at 5 p.m. We welcome any board members or guests who are available to attend and support our students' achievements. In addition, we will be awarding scholarships to several deserving senior students as they graduate and transition into their college programs. Mrs. Voss and Mrs. Galvin are extremely proud of the dedication and growth demonstrated by our students this year and are grateful for their continued support of the district and community. Thank you for your ongoing support of the Turlock High Host chapter. Last week, the Turlock High School FCCLA chapter attended the California State Leadership Conference in Riverside, California. Members attended workshops, leadership trainings, general and business sessions, and participated in competitions called STAR events. At the conference, Mrs. Wagner received recognition for 10 years of service and was awarded the Outstanding Advisor Recognition Silver. The children's theater classes will be presenting a short version of The Wizard of Oz in both English and Spanish on Thursday. This year, they will be performing for both Julian and Osborne schools, and we are excited to show the students all of their hard work. Thespian induction is happening this week for Troop 2005. We will be celebrating their accomplishments at the Thespian Banquet on May 13th. On Thursday, April 30th, we took 51 newcomer juniors and seniors on a study trip to Yosemite. Students learned the history and science of the national park and enjoyed the beauty of this national treasure. This was the first experience in Yosemite for almost all of our students. Last Thursday, our dance classes performed in front of an audience in the Performing Arts Building for their family and friends to see what they have learned this year. This was a great experience for many, and it was the first time that they were actually on a real stage. We have 7 spring sports C-Cal League champions, including our boys golf team, boys swim team, girls swim team, our girls track team, our boys track team, our boys baseball team will be hosting round 1 of playoffs tomorrow at 4 p.m., and our boys tennis team who is playing round 2 in Roseville right now. That concludes my board report. Go Dogs!
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Next is Pittman High School, Ms. Allison Coggan.
Good evening, Superintendent Ladin, Board Member, President Silva, and members of the board. Here's what's new at the Pride. We had some very exciting news this week. Following Decision Day this past Friday, Peyton Williams officially announced his commitment to the Culinary Institute of America in Napa, California. Peyton has evolved his culinary experience these past 4 years from his work in the Culinary Arts course at Pittman. He also studied culinary abroad in Switzerland last summer. His efforts have truly not gone unnoticed, and we hope he excels and achieves his goals of one day owning his own restaurants. Congratulations, Chief Peyton. Last Thursday, the Pride was able to recognize outstanding seniors at the Scholarship and Awards Night. Many scholarships were awarded, along with a significant amount of recognition being given to seniors who have excelled academically these past 4 years. They were given their cord for graduation and a certificate of achievement. Recognition also went to 9th to 12th grade Pride students who have gone above and beyond, excelling within their respective sports. Congratulations to all those who have been recognized that night, and a special thank you to all the wonderful staff who made this event extremely special and memorable. The Civic Leaders of America hosted their final debate con of the year with well over 100 active members joining in on engaging, friendly debates on real-world topics. Following each debate, a best speaker was announced. We would like to congratulate Martinez Portis, Elizabeth Chaplet Diaz, and Andrea Diaz for carrying out amazing, passionate debates that evening. Following the debate, the incoming Civic Leaders of America officers were announced. Marie Vera is president, Nadia Verdari is vice president, Dante Jenkins is secretary, Christian Howard and Giovanni Carr are debate coordinators, Oliver Barnes is social media, and Andrea Diaz is the speech representative. Congratulations to all. The Pittman Ag Department had 2 amazing girls attend the FFA State LDE competition at Fresno State University as finalists. Freshman Annie Carroll competed in the recitation of the FFA Spanish Creed. Senior Madison Staley competed in the job interview competition. They did amazing, and the Pride is so proud of their achievements. On April 18th, the Shima All-County Honor Jazz Ensemble had their concert. They showcased their amazing talent and showed off all the hard work they had been putting into making this concert so memorable. 10 amazing TUSD students were selected to participate in this astonishing performance. Congratulations to the ensemble. The Assyrian Culture Club on campus hosted an event promoting Assyrian New Year. The event had a cultural presentation, dancing, music, and delicious Assyrian food. All student officers earned recognition from multiple offices that evening. Congressman Gray's office supervisor, Vito Kay's office, Assemblyman Alanis' office, and State Senator Gill's office all recognized the officers for their achievement in promoting Assyrian culture. The event had one of the best turnouts with 100 members in attendance. A group of 18 thespians traveled to Ashland, Oregon over the weekend to visit the Oregon Shakespeare Festival and the Oregon Cabaret Theater. The visit included 3 spectacular performances and a backstage tour of the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, as well as a dinner theater performance at Oregon Cabaret. Students enjoyed experiencing world-class theater and exploring the possibilities of a career pathway in the theater industry. ASB and Green Team is continuing to plan the senior luau and senior send-off. They will be showcasing all of the pathways that seniors will be taking following college graduation. They also spent today passing out teacher appreciation snack cards and posters for each student. We are in full swing for AP testing season. Many students have been working hard all year, along with staff, to prepare for these AP tests. Testing started at 8 in the morning and will conclude next Friday. We will, with all students, have luck on their testing these next 2 weeks. This concludes my student report of the night. Thank you, and roll Pride.
Next are announcements. Tuesday, May 19th is our next board meeting at the Professional Development Center. At this time, we have a period for public comment. Is there anyone who would like to address the board? If not, we'll move on to the consent calendar. Are there any questions or comments from the board about the consent calendar? If not, could I have a motion?
I move to accept the consent calendar.
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded to accept the consent calendar. This is a roll call vote. Ms. Ramirez? Ms. Carlin?
Aye.
Ms. Amy?
Aye.
Ms. Jackson?
Aye.
Ms. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Shields? Aye. And the board president votes aye, and the motion carries. Next, Superintendent Blatty, under Human Resources, item 27.
Good evening once again. Tonight it's my pleasure to make two recommendations to two administrative positions here in our school district. The first is for the assistant principal position at Wakefield Elementary, and we recommend Ramanjot Sangara. Ms. Sangara joined the TOC team in 2011 as a kindergarten teacher at Wakefield. She later taught first grade before becoming an instructional coach in 2016. In 2020, she returned to the classroom as a second grade teacher before moving to a reading intervention teacher position, again at Wakefield. She is currently the MTSSA specialist, and yes, she has been serving the Wakefield community for the majority of her tenure in USD. We are excited about Robin's commitment to the school, and she is excited about the opportunity to continue to serve her beloved home as the new assistant principal. It is therefore recommended the board approve Ms. Sangara as the assistant principal of Wakefield Elementary.
Could I have
I second the motion.
This is a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Board president votes aye, motion carries. Congratulations. Next is item 28, Superintendent Blatty.
All right, thank you. So it is my pleasure to recommend Mr. Ryan Lonergan to the position of assistant principal at Turlock Junior High School. Ryan is currently an assistant principal at Modesto High School. He has led district-wide MTSS implementation for grades 7 through 12, utilizing data-driven interventions and instructional coaching to enhance student achievement and engagement. His professional background includes extensive experience as a resource specialist, where he managed IEP compliance and collaborated with families to support diverse learning needs. Throughout his tenure at Modesto City Schools, he has remained committed to building inclusive school cultures through staff supervision, leadership development, and strategic operational management. He is team-oriented, driven, and excited to serve the Turlock community he calls home. It is recommended the board approve Mr. Lonergan for the position of assistant principal at Turlock Junior High School.
Could I have a motion, please?
Move to accept the recommendation of Superintendent Blatty.
Second.
It's been moved in second, voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Board president votes aye, motion carries. Congratulations. Next are board reports.
I'm going to start my board report with the Newsies. It was amazing to see the production. They had the play and 55 students and staff, just so many people involved in that production. And as I was watching it and comparing it to Shrek, I was like, wow, these kids really could use their own theater. You know, the black box is so intimate and you really feel part of the production, but it would have been so much more if they had a stage just like this. That was just kind of occurred to me. We always talk about Pittman and maybe, football, but theater would be so amazing for those kids. They're so talented and they deserve it. Then it's Saturday, on May 2nd, it's the Science Olympiad here at Walnut. Oh my goodness, so many people and students and parents and teachers here competing in different activities. I wish I would have been able to spend more of the day than just showing up at the end and giving out an award. Because some of the things that they did, like can raise, what's that? Name that scientist, knock knock, did some of those different activities and so interesting, and the kids had so much enthusiasm as they won their first, second, third, fourth, and fifth place. Usually I think that, 2 kids per place. It was exciting, and all the kids were so enthusiastic. We also, my husband had the law practice as strategic legal group, and we went to the Stanislaus County Bar Association Law Day, where they honored some students from mock trial. And Kate joined us at our table with Ethan Early. He was also there, and they gave out scholarships. And they had counted 4 Turlock scholarships and 1 scholarship to a Pittman student. But there was other scholarships as well with the high schools that are in our community. They were promoting mock trial, which is a really good event to help students understand the process of our legal system. So that's my board report.
So interesting, being in a straight line again. I am so happy that we sit in an arc now so that we can see each other, because I can't see any of you. It's a weird experience to give a report to you when I can't see you. But I don't have anything to report other than to say I want to congratulate all the retirees. And I do feel like it's such a, people who just give of their energy and their time, and I realize it's a win-win. They get a job from us, but to invest in education of our students at all different levels, I have so much gratitude for the years of service that were represented tonight by the retirees. So congratulations to you all, and especially to our Sherry.
Well, I also participated, we say participate, because for the Newsies and the Shrek, I say performances because some of these thespians, they dance, they sing, they act. They're going to be on Broadway someday. They really are. And I'm keeping an eye on them. So that's going to be really interesting. The Science Olympiad that was here, I had no idea it was an all-day event. I had no idea. I don't know what I was thinking. I just thought I was going to show up. I almost felt bad. That I showed up at the end. You kind of felt like, oh, hi, how you doing? Kind of thing. So, but it was very well done, flawless. Everyone knew what they were supposed to be doing, and the people that put it all together, they did an excellent job. I did it with several of you attend the school board dinner presentation at the county office of ed, and they had the wired and rewired, is that what that was called? And it was giving some statistics of the students and connected with cell phones or internet and the level of anxiety. And I just thought that was really fascinating that that is coming out now, because we're finding that the level of anxiety and dependence and addiction is from the screens. Now I know me, right? I know me. I start checking my email. All of a sudden, I don't know how I end up on Facebook. I don't know how I end up on Instagram. And an hour later, I'm like, what happened? I'm supposed to be making dinner. So if that's how I feel as an adult, I can only imagine how students are feeling the pull of wanting to know what's happening next. So once again, I know I have said this before, but parents, please make sure that your student, your child, your family member is safe on the internet, because just because they say they're a 14-year-old doesn't necessarily mean they could be a 14-year-old. We did participate in the LCAP, and I have to say, I sat in LCAPs before at other districts. And when you have a CFO that says, we have to make this information, you have to make these decisions because this is what is sound. When you have an educator that is leading the way, leading the path, the emphasis is, what is the best impact for our students? How can we support our teachers? What can we do to continue to be a good employer for our staff? that I really was able to see the difference. And so I really appreciate all of the different lenses, different perspectives, community members, educators, support staff, parents, a student. I really appreciate having a student in the LCAP because we were able to say, well, what do students feel? Well, what is their idea? So I would like to continue to see that. So I just want to say thank you for everyone's impact for the LCAP, and that's local control accountability plan, right? And we make those decisions. We've had to make some different decisions. However, I'm very proud, happy in the good sense of the word, that we didn't have to have any layoffs, and everyone had a place, and everyone is valuable. And I just want to say thank you. And congratulations to the retirees. Yay, you did it. Well done.
Thank you. I'd like to start by talking about Stanislaus Partners in Education, great program. We recognize the people that help us with that. That's always a good activity. The school board's dinner presentation by Superintendent Packendahl, I think is a must for everyone, including parents and community members. The one fact that really struck me hard was when the study shows since 2010, our generations are falling behind the generation before. And we've always wanted the best for our kids. We want them to do better than us. And now we're seeing they're falling behind us. That scares the heck out of me. So I would really encourage you to look at that and see what we could do to alleviate some of that damage that's being done. The Newsies production at Pittman was excellent. I just can't get over the talent we have in our schools. I want to thank Board Member Ramirez for help lining up a tour of the Fusion Charter. That was really an eye-opener, and I thank her for that. The Science Olympiad with Ms. Ramirez and Ms. Amy was really exciting. Those kids were just full of the energy, and they were so excited. Superintendent Bladder talked about the medicinal Rotary teachers, and we had 2 excellent people representing our district. This is a time. I want to publicly thank Sherry for all the work that she does behind the scenes, because I know I screw things up when I'm running a meeting, but it's not her fault. She does a good job helping me out, but I need to pay more attention. And then on a personal note, I had a chance to attend a recognition of my youngest daughter, who was recognized for 20 years of teaching at East Union in Antigua. But actually, that's not correct. She actually has 22 years in. So I'm very proud of her to follow in the education footsteps. Hopefully, I told her she's got to run a little faster to catch up with Dad, but that's another story.
To be quick, at the county board center, there was a trustee who'd been on the board for 41 years. And that made us all shudder, at least for me. But I was teasing Mr. Silva that he had only, how many more years to go to beat that record?
I gotta run a lot faster.
Yeah, we all do. I also attended Newsies and Shrek. The talent on stage. Shrek had a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old be on stage, and I told her father does the music, and I think part of the choreography, and I just said, I can't imagine your daughter as a teenager on stage. The talent is amazing. And what I like about Black Box, and this is just my opinion, but I feel like I'm right there. Like, they are performing for me. And so I love the diversity in theater. And right now, I think almost every night in the next 2 weeks, you can go to a free, one of my favorite words, free musical concert, whether it's band, orchestra, mariachi. And so take advantage of it. It's on our website. I post on both my personal and my school Facebook page. So just go look on our website and look at all the different musical events. I always talk about how proud I am of what we do. I attended the newcomers dinner. I thought Marie Russell did an excellent job of the different topics that we've done throughout the year. And the food was delicious. Oh my goodness. It was just wonderful. And it was wonderful to see the diversity in our community there at that event and to hear the students speak about their experiences. It was very uplifting. I also did the Science Olympiad, and next year I would love to see, and I'm willing to help, I don't say that a lot, I'm willing to help. I want to see every one of our schools there. Every one of our elementary schools should be at the Science Olympiad. We were going to start one when my daughters were at that age, but it was COVID. And so to me, it's like whatever it takes. I saw teachers that had been on one campus and now they're working on another campus. But it's so cute to watch them jump up and scream. And like, I agree with that. Was it Patty who listed the different topics? I'm like, what is that? What is that? So it was really very, very uplifting. Kudos to our retirees. I'm jealous. I'm always jealous. But I'm looking at what I see is a loss of institutional knowledge. These people have been on campuses for so long. They know so much. And we're so appreciative of them, whether it's teachers and parents, bus drivers, the maintenance, all working together to make our communities and such a wonderful environment for our kiddos. I was trying to do the math and I didn't get it all done, but Turlock High alone was 183 years of teaching experience. And I will say this one last thing. Dave Klein, I know this is gonna kill all of you, Dr. Dave Klein, was voted class clown of his high school class. And I got that on really good information. I'm not gonna reveal my source, so again, thank you. And Sherry, that woman, if you travel for the district, makes it seamless. Like, she should go out and be a travel agent for fun. She's so good. Because I just traveled and I tried my best to do everything. Anyway, and she made it really easy even for me to turn in my receipts. And so it was just a lot. I travel for CSBA, and so I'm very appreciative not only of that, but of finding my iPad or when I leave my water bottle somewhere or whatever I mess up. She is, as all of you know, the custodians, the secretaries, your staff, your support staff make you look good. So we have to thank you, Sherry.
For my board report, I attended most outcaps from beginning to end at E Academy along with TUSD. And I'm proud to say that we did some good work this time around. And so that was that. And then I also, that same night, so I went into a training all day, and then I went in the evening time and I attended the Pittman Award Ceremony. Congratulations to Marissa for getting the superintendent recognition. She's not here, but I just want to give her that announcement. Recognition to all the students that night that got awards. One got a pretty healthy award. I forgot how much it was, but it was pretty healthy. So that was kudos to them. And then I too also attended the school board dinner. It was a good dinner, and congratulations to all of those that were recognized for their services as well. And then I just want to give a personal shout out to Sherry for all that she did to put up with me. I mean, she made my my stay here with her easy. I mean, and I look forward to working with Laura Salazar next year. Because her too, when I call up and I'm like, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know where I'm at, and even today I said, Sherry, I don't know my schedule for the graduation. She says, because you didn't sign up, and I'm like, oh my God, how did I miss that one? So I really appreciate all your services that you have done for this board. Thank you. And that concludes my board report.
Just like to remind the board, we're going back into closed session, so don't run off. If I can have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved. Second.
Yes, we're moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Board President votes aye.